Hello and welcome to this short presentation of our work. I am Panagiotis Antoniou from the Lab of Medical Physics and Digital Innovation from the School of Medicine of the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, and I will be presenting our work entitled Evaluating Co-Creative XR Resource Design and Development Observations from the Field.
Naturally, with the advent of new modalities like virtual, augmented, and mixed reality, a new environment for developing content for medical education emerged. However, another problem substituted the previous one with these modalities. Developing immersive digital content takes a lot of time and effort, so there is a clear content creation challenge. Here is where co-creation approaches can shake things up. Co-design and co-creation started off as marketing tools. Instead of boring focus group, the people got to design the product. This led to user investment through participatory knowledge sharing. That's what's key in our case. In healthcare co-creation learning, the expert or the learner are engaged from the content creation stage. They absorb and share knowledge by designing. They put in serious creative investment and thus they add value both in content quality and in development time by reducing it. Everyone who's ever heard of software development this side of the century knows about Agile. It is a highly iterative, agile regarding development times framework for quickly prototyping and iterating software. But what is doing here? Surely we can't expect our future doctors or nurses to learn programming tools and methods. No. What they can use, though, is a concrete methodology for co-designing immersive educational resources. 4 simple stages: preparation, co-creation, technical facilitation, and prototyping translate core aspects of Agile to help healthcare educators to design and incorporate immersive content in their material.
In that context, the aim of this work is to explore whether these workflows and approaches work in realistic XR development for healthcare education. For that aim, we explored lessons learned during the Entice project about acceptance and suitability of co-creation methods in immersive educational resource design and implementation.
4 members and active contributors of the Entice Resource Co-Design team were interviewed for the purposes of the study. The academic and technical backgrounds, as well as the levels of experience in co-creation, were diverse. Interview participants included 2 learning technologists and 2 healthcare educators. All participants were core members of the XR team from the early stages of the project up until the final development and were actively participating in the co-creation sessions. In order to collect necessary data, problem-centered interviews were conducted. The main characteristics of the interviews were useful to bring to light the subjective experiences, viewpoints, and perceptions of participants in relation to the design and development co-creation process of the educational resources. Following the principles of qualitative research such as openness, flexibility, and orientation, the interview guide was formulated as a structured conversation aiming to elicit spontaneous feedback on all significant viewpoints of the co-creation process. The interview guide was based on 5 broad thematic areas that ensured the comparability and comprehensiveness of the experiences collected by participants. The first one is the adequate entry points and the continuity of co-creation. The second is competencies, skills and training, followed by mutual understanding, integration of end users' realities, and finally balancing influence. In this table, we can see the 5 thematics and the questions that were posed for each one.
I think that it's important to have guidance from the educators from the early stages of the design and development of the resource. When you try to develop resources with content that you are not familiar with, for example, I'm a developer and I'm for sure not a specialist in the field of medicine. Therefore, it is really important to involve the educators that are specialists in the field so that they can envision and help the developers of the design and of the resource. Without the educator's guidance, we could have designed resources that do not reflect their real practical needs.
Overall, there was a good coordination of the project. However, I would say that as a developer, I faced a couple of delays due to the delay of the iteration cycle. Perhaps a better organizational chart for better task allocation in a specific time frame would help to be more productive.
I think for a project like ours, a big project with lots of different technical and academic specialist skills, the challenge of co-creation is that you need to give everyone engaged so everyone is on the same page. Everyone is clear of what they are trying to achieve, especially when having a diverse group of colleagues. There's also a difference in language and culture, which I think adds to the difficulty, especially having done meetings online due to COVID-19 restrictions. I think it's really difficult to keep everyone therefore on that same page. Stakeholder engagement is really, really critical. I think my practical needs will be reflected through the resources. Again, though, I suppose without the face-to-face meetings, we haven't been able to see as clearly that incremental change. So the risk is that we finally do see the end resource. It might not match to what my expectations are. I felt I had an engaging role during the decision-making process. Definitely was included. I could always express my ideas, and they would be appreciated.
The core limitation of this study is its small sample size. However, the wealth of qualitative data that were acquired through a cohesive project team, which has applied design thinking for over a year, provide very specific insights. These are the prerequisites for combining co-creation with agile development methodologies to provide immediacy of design, rapid prototyping, and continuous feedback in order to achieve the co-creation virtuous cycle in product development. That process facilitates rapid deployment of XR resources, increasing acceptance and, overall, the democratization and wider proliferation of XR content in healthcare education. Thank you for your attention, and we hope that you will follow our work through our digital channels.